Now, George,
very pleased.
you had an erection throughout for this.
Yes.
What did you think?
I tried to hide it, but I might have failed. No, it was. It was great. I mean, the film itself was great. I mean, the second half is really, really enjoyable. It's so much fun. Like, as soon as you get the kills and you get how she's just torturing these guys, it's a good time. I mean, the first half is hardcore. Even Paul, before it's like the first hour is pretty grim, and if you get through that, then you can start to get it pays it off. Get through like the hard stuff, and it'll pay off with fun stuff.
Which is what they actually said as an introduction, didn't they? Was it Paul?
Yeah. But it definitely is, because that first hour is really disturbing and it's brutal, and that sexual embarrassment that she goes through it's hard to watch.
It's the humiliation, isn't it? And
I mean, that's what I mean. The film's an 18, and obviously it said that the US is trying to get an R, but it just can't do it, and that is the reason why it can't. It's not the gore, it's not the kills, it's just that part is why it's an 18. Why you can't get an R rating.
So one thing I was kind of surprised at and a little bit disappointed by is by the time you get to the rape scene, there's been one scene where Jennifer has kind of humiliated one of the gang. I thought they'd be a bit heavier on that. I thought they'd make more of her humiliating them.
Yeah.
Not as a reason, but as giving the actual rape some weight and some, giving them something to sort of be angry about and do what they're doing for a reason, sort of thing. So I was surprised that they didn't emphasise that. And I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't actually, because there is that one scene where she makes him look a bit foolish, and he tries a chattel wide on her, and she's like, yeah, alright, whatever, sort of thing. But I thought it would have been nice to see a little bit more of that, so that you could get why they were doing what they were doing a little bit more. But that's probably about the only criticism I've got.
It's not the worst thing. Yes, it's disturbing. It's a really hard watch, but it still doesn't go on the level of, say, Irreversible, which to me is the roughest thing I've could have had to actually have to watch on cinema.
Sorry.
And yeah, I mean, actually, one thing I really sort of loved was how when she's in the cottage, she's in the sort of like little cabin, and she's hearing banging, and she's hearing things. She goes and investigates. She goes in and she sees like the lies and how it introduces those people as characters, those objects as literally characters. It does it, and it does it with the shears as well. It'll slowly pan across them, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to be seeing you later.
Doesn't do it with the fish.
Doesn't do it with the fish. But no, it's sort of like, yeah, clock them. We know them coming back up later, and I thought it was really, really good. I mean, some of the inventive kills was really fun to watch. With one guy tied to a tree was great, and just when she turns up with that sort of poison and puts it in the back, it's like every word, it really was. And to be honest, it really surprised me, because I thought it could have been a crowd pleaser, but I thought it could have been maybe a bit of a shoddy film, but it really was. It was well made. It was shot brilliantly, and yeah, I mean, I would have to wait a little while to watch it again, but I mean, I would watch it again. I would really recommend it to people to watch.
One thing I really liked about it as well was early on, it was really good at making her look vulnerable.
Yeah.
The way there was a lot of like long shots of her in it. I mean, like walking around that area and the forest area looked really aggressive, sort of thing, and the long shots just made her look lost in the middle of it. Even when she was running, there was a lot of distance shots and stuff like that. And there were literally moments where the camera's like there, looking down on her and surrounded by this stuff. So they made her look really vulnerable in the rural area that she was in before we even got to.
Yeah, I mean, even after that rape scene where you just see her walking away, and just the way she's walking, it's oh my god, it was really it was just she just, it felt like she was withered, she was broken, she was just completely drained of everything, and it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
I mean, I thought it was interesting as well. I mean, I thought it was interesting as well. Just speaking from a fucking geeky as fuck point of view, I usually think that if you're going to do kind of like there's no way to escape kind of thing, then like using a flat aspect ratio is better. But this is shot in scope, and with that you have got a lot of these like long shots and like a lot of the surroundings around there, and they really build up the fact that there is no one else about.
No.
If people come into this picture, it's going to be very, very hard to get away, and just the isolation of it I actually thought was very well done. It feels claustrophobic, and yet there's so much of an area to play with, and I actually think the director did pretty well with how he framed it and how it was shot, you know. But overall, yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree really. I did enjoy it as such. It is hard to get through. There's one member of the group who rapes her at one point, which I found particularly disturbing, because I probably have seen that in film before, but it's essentially, yeah, actually, I was going to say what it was, but that actually kind of like hints at it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once it all does start kicking off, it really goes for the jugular. And I mean, I thought there's a sheriff character, and mild spoiler. It turns out he's a bad guy, but you find that out so quickly, and it's very obvious from the start. I was a little, oh god, so like the small town, they're all in on it together kind of thing, but just the simple addition of him being so straight-laced outside of this, whenever he is not with the other guys or with the girl, he is a perfectly straight-laced family guy, and you know, I thought that was interesting. I mean, they don't delve into that too much. And to be honest, there is one plot point that I wanted resolving at the end with regards to his family, I will say. But yeah, I mean, in all, it's gory as all fucking shit at times. The last half an hour or so is pretty much rape revenge cinema at its most effective. And in all, I mean, it's a hard watch. I think you can see where the cuts come from.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm not one for censorship, but I don't mind the fact that they cut stuff, because there's some stuff I just don't really. I don't want to see any of this stuff.
I would personally, if I had to guess, I would guess that the stuff that they cut was probably certain looks on certain faces and stuff like that during the rape scene. I would guess.
Yeah.
Because there is like there's a bit of that in the original, and it is a bit like, whoa, fucking hell, and that says more about what's going on and what they're actually doing than the actual act that you're watching, sort of thing. A lot, you know, and that that's where the woman hating misogyny argument is going to come from, if it's going to come from anywhere. So if I had to guess, I'd guess it was probably something like that. I may be completely wrong, but like, you know.
I mean, the BBFC say on their website that they cut stuff that could be seen as making it seem erotic.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I don't like seeing that kind of stuff really. But the thing is, though, at the same time, if you found any of that erotic, there is something wrong with you.
Exactly.
I mean, like, all joking aside, you know, there's no chance you'll want to go and get laid after watching this film. Yeah, the battery. Yeah, I've got the rechargeable battery, and I've got the energizers in it.
Sweet.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on Ice Spinning Ready, isn't it? And I may as well change the batteries while we're at it.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
I didn't